Since I was a kid growing up at the height of the Cold War, I've been fascinated by the deepest, darkest secrets of our government.
I had to do it. This is called Underground Part 2. You're going to love this place in West Virginia. I had no idea.
It dazzles the eyes.
That's right, that's right.
Welcome to the Greenbrier, a 5-star luxury resort in White Sulphur Springs.
It's still grand, but back in the day, this was one of the premier places.
Oh yeah.
This hotel was a hotspot for celebrity weddings and high society types. You need to go over 700 feet into the ground. The Greenbrier was built in 1913, but in 1948, the resort entered into an agreement with the United States government.
I'm able to show you these because these have been decommissioned. In other words, we're allowed to see them now.
And a new construction began. The hotel would add another wing, complete with new rooms and an exhibition hall. But meanwhile, underneath, the government would covertly construct a secret fallout shelter for high-ranking government officials that no one in the public would know about until over 30 years later.
Now this looks like a nuclear bunker. So this is the door that protects it all, huh?
Yeah, 25 tons of steel and concrete.
This tunnel leads to a complex that would house more than 1,000 people for over 6 months. The bunker had 18 dormitories crammed with bunk beds,
Just room after room.
along with a power plant with purification equipment, 3 25,000-gallon water tanks, and an infirmary.
I'm not trying to scare you or put fear into you, but this is the world we live in.
Secrecy.
This is intense. How far underground are we at this point?
We're 35 feet.
You worked in this silo.
Yes, during the height of the Cold War.
What was that like? What did that feel like?
When he received the call, would put that key in as instructed and launch the nuclear missile.
It was boring and scary at the same time.
David Haratunian was a Titan II ballistic missile analyst during the Cold War. His job was to wait for this phone to ring, and if it did, he'd put this key into this switch and launch a nuclear attack. And if it happened, it would have all taken less than 60 seconds. Russia and North Korea have thousands of underground military bases. How crazy is that? The Titan II was built in 1961, when a telephone looked like this.
There you go. So give me some read on what I'm looking at here.
It's 103 feet tall. It weighs 330,000 pounds fully loaded. It has 430,000 pounds of thrust, which is equivalent to 2 747s at full throttle.
How fast does it take for this to get to its target in the
About
Soviet?
30 minutes. Going to go about 17,000 miles an hour.
And what is the actual bomb?
It's a 9 megaton bomb, which is equivalent to 9 million tons of TNT.
How does that compare to Hiroshima?
It's 600 times more powerful than Hiroshima.
And how many facilities with this nuclear missile were ready to go on a single phone call?
54.
So in the case of nuclear attack, 54 Titan II missiles all lift off basically at the same time.
Only totally retaliatory, not a first strike weapon. If the Soviet Union launched against us, this was the deterrent. Mutually assured destruction. The 54 Titans were going to wipe out 54 of their cities or military bases.
And today, even more so.
Today, more so, there's more of them, and they're more accurate.
But there is one branch of the government that is reportedly very open to the idea of extraterrestrials in our midst. The presidency. In his first days in office, President Bill Clinton is said to have asked two questions. Who really killed President Kennedy? And what is hidden at Area 51?
Now you see what's below us and above us. And yes, I do believe there'll be an intervention.
One of the pilots flying that day was Commander David Fravor.
At this point, when the incident happened, I had been flying for about 16 years, about 3,600 hours. This is a clear, no clouds, perfect Southern California day. And as I look off the right side, the guy in the backseat of the other jet says, "Hey, Skipper, do you?" And I kind of finish the sentence, "Dude, do you see that?" And we're watching this little white object, and it's going like this. We get to about the 12 o'clock, it goes, boop, gets in front of my nose. You see it start to accelerate, and it goes poof, and it's gone. I looked at it for over 5 minutes, and I chased it. I got within a half mile of it. It had no wings, it had no rotors, it had no known propulsion system.
Unidentified craft have an intense interest in our nuclear facilities. They started appearing in New Mexico right after the birth of the nuclear age, over nuclear labs where weapons were designed, over nuclear power plants, and over nuclear missile bases.
This famously happened on March 16, 1967, at a place called Malmstrom Air Force Base in the state of Montana. That's a very major installation with nuclear missiles, with ICBMs, multiple above-ground personnel. At the same time, you had at least 10 of those LCCs went offline, 10 ICBM missiles. What's interesting is that all of those missiles are not hardwired to each other. So if one went down, it should never have affected any of the others. They all went down, like bing, 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 all in succession.
The unknown craft interfered with the launch control systems.
And this is the reason why I don't think we'll have a nuclear war.